Thanks to everyone for coming. This is a really great crowd. I'm happy to be here with you today. And I do recognize quite a few of you. So if your child has done one of my programs, can you raise your hand just so I have a gauge? Great. Okay, and then some of you come to Mom's Meetup, so I see you there too, which is awesome. We are going to be talking today about middle school makeover, how you and your child experience middle school. And that is also the name of my book. The middle school years I refer to as the middle school project because there are three major pieces of a construction project that your kid is working on right now. They are building a new body, they are building a new brain, and they are building a new identity. And those three things are really hard. And that's what they use to become the adult self that they're going to be. But it's very, very difficult. So as we go through this presentation, I'm going to talk about each of those, building a brain, body, building an identity. The thing that's tricky about this is that the social world of middle schoolers is sort of the platform on which they build all of that. So it's like building a house on the beach, and the sands are constantly shifting. But when they have a new body and their peers are reacting and evaluating it, they're developing too soon, they're developing too late, or their brain is doing lots of stuff that causes them to be impulsive or forgetful, and we're going to talk specifically about some of those things. Or they're trying to figure out their new identity. Are they the little kid who wants to snuggle you at home? Or are they the kid who wants to kiss a boy? Or are they the kid, you know, there's a lot of stuff happening, and they're code switching 100 times a day. I'm a certain person in front of this popular group. I'm a different person with my best friend. I'm a different person with my mom at home. So everything is happening in this construction scenario on very unsteady ground. And that makes middle school really tough. This I call the evolution of the mean girl, and it's another kind of interesting thing that's been happening in our culture, and I think it has a big impact on middle school culture. So does everybody remember Nellie Olson? When we were little, Nellie Olson was the meanest girl on TV. She's the nastiest girl on the prairie, and we would tune in. We would tune in every week to see what terrible thing Nellie was going to do. But the nice thing about Nellie is that it was clear that we were not supposed to like her. Nobody wanted to dress up as Nellie for Halloween, right? We all wanted to be Laura or Mary. So it was clear that she was the mean girl and that that was not cool. And then along came Regina George. Do you guys know Regina? She is from the movie Mean Girls, which Queen Bees and Wannabes is Rosalind Wiseman's other book that was turned into the movie Mean Girls with Lindsay Lohan. And she is the head of the popular girl clique called the Plastics. So again, it's that idea of being perfect is normal. She was the head of the Plastics, and she was terrible, manipulative and vicious and shallow. And we kind of wanted to be her a little bit because she's beautiful. I mean, there was something very attractive about Regina, and she started to blur the lines on what it meant to be a mean girl. So how many of you have boys? How many of your boys used to insist on going to the grocery store wearing a towel around their neck and swim goggles and cowboy boots, right? I love when I see a little boy like that out. I think it's so cute. The reason that boys do this, and the reason that I named my boys program Hero's Pursuit, is because of some work that I'm really interested in by Joseph Campbell. He's the guy who coined the phrase, follow your bliss. And he did a lot of research into archetypes. Archetypes are universal truths that are true no matter what culture, what time, what geography. This is a truth about human nature. And what he discovered to be the main truth for boys, whether you are raised in Harlem in the 1900s or as an Eskimo in the 1800s, no matter where you are in this world or what time, the universal truth is that every boy wants to be a hero. It's primal. Every boy wants to satisfy that. So that's really easy to do when you're this age. You put on a towel, right? And so you have Spider-Man and you have Batman and you have all of these things that really entertain you and fulfill you, deeply fulfill your need to be heroic. And then as you age up, that stuff is not so cool anymore. So when you're a middle school boy, that need doesn't go away. What replaces superheroes for boys that age? Any idea? Sports figures. So you may have had this experience with your child where you ask your kid a question and they say, you do not have to snap at me. I didn't do anything. And you think, I was just asking you how your day was. This is because they can't read your facial expression. So during the middle school years, you can practice something that I call having Botox brow. And what that means, whenever you do this, let's say your kid comes home and they say, I am so mad because Kate called me the B word at school, and you know Kate. And you're like, oh my gosh, I am so surprised that Kate would do that. And she says, don't get mad at me, right? Or you say, you're confused, and you're like, Kate did that, she's such a nice girl. Why are you mad? Right, so you get the idea. Anytime you furrow your brow, your kid assumes you're mad at them. So you have to physically do this for a while. I have to do this still. Or you can get Botox. I don't have it, but that's up to you. You wipe your brow, and when your kid comes to you and said, Kate called me the B word, the first thing you do is you express empathy. And I learned this from my daughter, who, whenever she would come to me, because I do this for a living and because I'm a teacher naturally, I would always want to teach her. I would say, you know, sometimes people do that when they've had a bad day. Maybe something's happening in Kate's house. And she said to me one day, you never just feel bad for me. And I thought, oh, that's what I want when I complain to my husband. I don't want him saying, well, sorry you were late, but why'd you take that road? You should have, you know, I want him to say, oh, that stinks to be late for your meeting. That must have been hard. So the first thing I do is with a neutral brow, I say, and you will feel like a Stepford mom. It's weird. But you just say, I am so sorry. That sounds terrible. And then she'll be like, yeah, you're not mad at me when I just told you that. So all of a sudden she's feeling like the door's open. And then you can ask her a question about it. You can tell her how you feel. I am not saying don't have an emotion, but you have to speak your emotion to your child. You can't show it on your face because they can't read it, because that prefrontal cortex, the manager, is out on lunch. The other thing that's really important to remember, and I tell kids this when they come to my conferences or when they come to my camps, things like this, and you should be telling your kid the very same thing, is that your manager is off duty for about 7 years. So you know what that means? You need an assistant manager. And guess what? I'm here to fill the job, right? I am your assistant manager. Now, when you think about that, I want you to think for a second. Raise your hand if you have ever been micromanaged by a boss or a partner or a friend or a parent. Did you perform your best when you were being micromanaged? Did you feel good about yourself, right? So being an assistant manager should never be confused with being a micromanager. During these few years that your kid is in middle school, and this works for elementary and this works for high school, I just say middle school because that's my territory, think about the best manager you ever had. And think about what they did. Someone throw out some qualities of a great manager. They trust you. That's a great one. Yeah? Praise. Good. What else? Good listener. Organized. Love it. They appreciate you. They give you space to figure it out instead of giving you the answer. I love all of these. That is your job. You just wrote your own job description for the next few years.
Thank you so much for coming today and for your time and attention. Let's give Michelle a applause.
Thank you.